only be a moment. I'm giving a lecture at the camp tonight. Prisoners.
That's very Christian of you.
Well, I was invited. Shakespeare, the man and his world. It's a question of where to pitch it. I've no idea of the audience.
I should think they're used to something a little more rousing than one of your lectures, aren't they? The despair is general and of a different order from even his novels of the period from 1848 onwards. Certainly the feeling for the poor, the distaste for the snobbery and smugness of the middle classes are all there. So too are Dickens' usual skill of characterization and gift for atmosphere. But these count for far less than the general disease, an epidemic that holds every man and woman prisoner. And in this novel, the accent is upon every.
Einem Bahnhof, man hat mir versprochen.
Ja, ist ein netter Kerl.
Ja, hat auch eine schöne Tochter, nicht wahr?
Ja, nicht schlecht.
Schön, ja.
And I'm not sure there isn't more emphasis on healing than you mention. The last pages. More vitality. Rebirth? Look, leave it, and then I think we'll try a different tack.
Is it not very good?
Well, no.
It wasn't for want of trying. I worked on it all through Christmas.
Is that why you didn't go home? An essay on Dickens?
No, not entirely. My mother knows the reasons. I was actually fine.
Should we wait a bit longer, do you think?
No, it would be best to begin.
Perhaps you prefer a discussion rather than...
No, a lecture would be most welcome. Our English is still not so good.
Well, there may be some howlers in what I have to say. My German is fairly literary, I'm afraid.
I'll interpret if necessary.
Good. All right, then. We'll make a start. In 1564...
Das war sehr interessant. Danke.
Pleasure.
Most men are now working. They're too tired in the evenings to desire anything but entertainment. It wasn't always so here, but since the war ended, man can be transferred at any time. The leadership, cultural and intellectual leadership. It is the policy. The best men go to other camps or return home. The moral is not so good. The camp is not static. The minority move on. The American, what we call the American prisoners.
Good night.
It's not that I don't want to see you. You mustn't take it personally. I've tried so hard to explain. Can't you see, Mummy? There's still so much of him there.
We are graded white, gray, or black. Black is Nazi, gray is less... This coffee, I'm afraid, is only black. I can't help that. There's no milk. But I have a little sugar, if you wish.
And you, how were you graded?
Not white, gray. I refuse to talk shop with my captors. Even you British don't respect a betrayer. So gray. If I were white, I would perhaps go home, but I was under oath.
Under oath?
To the Führer. Oh. No longer. Our faith was abused. To be young in Germany when I was young was to be enthusiastic, to believe. We Germans, you see, we needed an ideal. Honor, comradeship, self-sacrifice. We trusted blindly. We didn't know then what was going on inside those camps like Buchenwald. They showed us the films here. At first, we didn't believe it was impossible to imagine. British propaganda. Lies. And now we know it wasn't lies, but lies that we'd been told. And now, there are no ideals, no meaning, no nothing, as you say. I take refuge in study as best as I can. Precise scientific truth. It's not enough, but...
Do you have access to books?
It's limited. Even in Oxford.
I'll see what I can do. I don't know your name.
Niedermann.
Pallister. Michael Pallister.
Thomas Niedermann.
patronising, don't you think?
What?
Succouring your labouring inferiors.
I don't regard him as an inferior. And he's labouring because this government, for all its fine principles, makes him labour.
I'm afraid I don't share your Quaker conscience in these matters.
Oh, it's nothing to do with my pacifism, if that's what you mean.
No? I just think you're making rather an exhibition of your concern, that's all.
Befriending? He's rather remarkable, as you'll see.
I've no intention of befriending Germans. Fraternising with them.
Yes, well. I've invited him here.
When?
Now. He's coming for tea.
Without consulting me?
Why should I consult you?
A German soldier?
Look, forget that Thomas is German. The important thing is that Thomas is Thomas.
Yes, well, I can't, you see.
Well, you'd better overcome your aversion. It's the Air Force, in fact, the Luftwaffe.
What sort of game are you playing?
No game at all. Ordinary fellow feeling, because I think it's about time that you got over David's death.
Well, you think what you like.
Common civility. You say hello. Thomas! You found me. Quite a trek, isn't it?
Hello, Michael.
Come in. What's the weather been doing? I'll help you out.
It's cold. My uniform is like...
Christine, this is Thomas Niedermann. Thomas, my cousin, Christine Reynolds.
I'm pleased to meet you.
Let me take your coat.
It's wet. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry. It'll dry here. What have you been up to this last week?
I've been working in the fields in this weather.
Well, how do you feel about that?
Not bad. Oh, no, not all bad. I shall get a little money. I'm not tough enough for a prisoner. I dislike the cold and get too easily tired. I'm not used to working 8 or 9 hours a day in the fields.
What job are you doing?
Well, yesterday and Friday we picked Brussels sprouts. You like Brussels sprouts? No, you don't. I don't like Brussels sprouts either, and I like them less and less now that I must pick them.
Christine had a spell as a land girl. It was the summer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Ah.
Christine's my student as well as my cousin.
Is that usual? I mean, is that by design?
Request. Though now she complains I work her too hard. Christine's request, not mine. I said I thought it was folly. I like to say I'm her tutor, but not a moral tutor. It's a distinction we have.
What is a moral tutor?
It's a legacy from before the war, when girls and young men were presumed to need a degree of protection.
In loco parentis, we call it.
An anachronism. But then this university rather prides itself on being out of date. Even if one had... However one had spent the war, Oxford would still, in its wisdom, consider that one needed parenting. The tea is ready. The cake is chiefly carrot, I'm afraid. And I must go, Michael. Whatever it is that's going round, the flu, I think I've caught it.
You should have mentioned it before.
Don't come too close.
I'm sorry, you do not feel
Oh, I'll
well.
be fine. Nothing that a brandy in my bed won't cure.
Will you be all right?
Yes, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'll telephone you. Well, this wretched cake. We have sugar, should you wish.
You're very kind.
It's the least we can offer. Do sit down, Thomas, for heaven's sake. Oh, I got you the Thomas Mann, by the way.
Oh. Danke.
His name was David. They'd only been engaged for a short time. He was shot down by the Luftwaffe. So, she was working in London when it happened, before she came up here. She felt... She said... as if there was no future. As if her life had ended. You must know the feeling. Don't you think you're overdoing this martyrdom?
I've had flu. I've been in bed.
I mean about David. Your behavior on Sunday.
Oh, my manners to your German. I see. You don't think that entertaining Nazi pilots in your room, trapping me into meeting them, could be seen as rather extraordinary behavior, objectionable even?
He is no longer a Nazi.
He says.
Christine, he is not.
I don't like Germans. I've no wish to meet German pilots.
Thomas was a pilot, certainly. He was also shot down himself.
And survived.
Would you prefer him not to?
David didn't.
Thomas has no family.
Thomas! Thomas! How long have you known him?
Both his parents are known to be dead. His sister is missing. Presumed dead. They lived in Dresden, the Eastern Zone, but it wasn't the Russians, Christine. He believes, Thomas, for all that has happened to him and his family, that it is better for Germany, his country, to have lost. Because if they had won, he says, they would have lost themselves. There's another Germany, he says, than the one we've known. I think he's remarkable, and I think you should make your peace with him. For your own sake, Christine.
Heute Abend eine schöne Zeit. Viele Bier, viele Fräulein.
Christine! Oh.
Christine, you should have waited for me in Michael's rooms. I didn't expect you to walk out here.
I needed the exercise. I've had a morning in the library. Your hand?
Yes, it's the cold. Some of my colleagues must have borrowed my gloves.
Well, perhaps I could find you an old pair, or Michael could.
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm afraid they too might be borrowed and you would never see them again.
Well, that wouldn't matter.
Oh, yes, I think it would. Yeah. Yeah. Is your influenza over now?
Yes, I couldn't make it last any longer. No excuse to put off my essay for Michael.
Yeah. But today is a holiday.
This afternoon, yes.
Where are you taking me? Michael was rather mysterious.
Blenheim, we thought.
Blenheim?
The home of the Churchills.
Ah.
It's outside the 5-mile limit for the prisoners. He couldn't say too much. He's back in his rooms looking out some clothes for you to wear. Let's hope they fit.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's nice to be so new.
Michael, we're here.
Where is Michael?
I don't know. He said he'd be here. Oh.
Is something wrong?
No, nothing serious. He's had to stand in for a colleague. Seminar on Swift. The clothes are in the bedroom. Well, here they are. I'll leave you to change.
Yes, of course.
Is everything all right?
Yes, thank you. Everything is very good. What do you think? Only the hat doesn't fit.
You look very different. I wouldn't have recognized you.
Then I hope nobody else does.
There are certain simple rules. If there's a queue anywhere, join it. And the weather's there to be talked about. And you should have worn a hat. You'll get cold.
Every day we expect news, and then we hear that perhaps we will not be released until after the harvest. It is possible to overestimate our power to wait.
It'll get better, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Slowly things will be better. But even a criminal, you know, is told the exact length of his sentence.
Will you go back to Dresden?
Perhaps. And perhaps, after all, it is better for me here. We have a phrase in the camp. The bread of exile. Maybe there are worse places to be eating it. to take about my final examinations. Well, that is now in the past. I shall always listen to music, but it's too late now to play it for others. First time I saw you, do you remember? I think it was then that I fully realized what it meant to be a prisoner. I ran away from Michael's rooms, ashamed of my uniform, my heavy boots, my clumsiness, my Germanness, everything. And you looked so clean. Yeah. It's a funny thing to tell a girl, but nothing at the camp, no one really seems clean. One scrubs the floor, one scrubs one's clothes, but there's always something, an atmosphere, a smell like the sweat stains one can't get off one's uniform.
Thomas?
Warum habe ich solches Glück?
What?
I'm asking, why am I so lucky? Is this right?
Is what right?
For me to love you. What future can there be for us?
Oh, don't talk about the future.
Well, someday we shall have to talk about the future.
But not now.
Christine, you must understand that.
No. No. I live only for the present. You must learn the same. Only for the present.
Only for the present. I will try. This way? Yes, I think so.
Isn't the village over there?
No, it's this way.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway.
A little. You forget we have a bus to catch and I must be back at the camp in time.
Heavens, how prosaic you are.
Prosaic?
Unromantic.
It's not good for a prisoner to be romantic, is it? See what has happened to me.
Poor Thomas.
Do you know when I first realized?
Realized what?
That I loved you, of course.
Do you love me?
Of course. That first time I saw you, I got back to the camp. I walked. There's a field for exercise. It was never possible to get away. There were always other men, but I hadn't imagined how easily I could lose them. I didn't think of the past, or of the camp, but the future. Something to hope for.
You mustn't. I told you.
I know. What future can there be for us?
Please don't.
Only for the present. I will try. Now we really are lost.
No, we're not. Listen. There's traffic over there.
That's not traffic.
Don't be so silly. Of course it is. Don't you believe me? I bet you 5 bob. Do you take me on?
If you win, I shall not be able to pay you. You with the man who's not even able to pay for his own bus fares.
I wish you wouldn't talk like that. Naturally, you can't pay for things. That's understood.
Even so, perhaps it is stupid of me, but I don't like to eat other people's food and spend other people's money. First it was Michael, and now it's you.
I wonder if you can tell us, is the main road over there?
No, it's that way.
Thank you.
But you can't go through there.
Oh, why not?
Because this is private land, that's why. Didn't you see the barbed wire? All this land belongs to my father.
But surely your father won't mind. You see, we got lost and we're afraid we'll miss our bus if we don't get to Woodstock soon.
No, you can't go through.
Don't be absurd. We can't turn back. We don't know the way.
That's your lookout. Shouldn't have come through in the first place.
Serves you right for trespassing.
We're not trespassing. We've done no harm.
Well, you're not going any further. Otherwise, I'll tell my father. He'll see you off, and damn quick, too.
Yes, well, why don't you run along and tell him then?
We better turn back.
Certainly not. And let these little wretches boss us around. Don't take any notice of them.
We don't wish to get into trouble while we're more than 5 miles from the camp.
What trouble can we get into?
You'll soon see.
Come on.
You attack me! I'll tell my father!
Go to hell.
Go to hell yourself.
He's a foreigner. He's a Hun. What's... I bet he's a prisoner.
Or a spy.
He's a bloody crowd. Come on.
Barbarian. Wait for me, I shall
No,
go back.
what's the point? We don't want to row. Come on, please.
Crowd!
Get him!
Oh, Thomas. You beast! You filthy little beast! How cruel. How horrible for you.
Oh, I wish you'd let me go back.
To do what?
You teach them a lesson.
You can't do anything. You're a prisoner in civilian clothes, and that would mean a police corpse.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Oh, God, it's all so unjust.
How shall I explain to Michael? His clothes.
Tell him what happened, he'll understand.
No.
Why not?
Well, because... No, I shall tell him something else.
Why?
Oh, you wouldn't understand. I feel ashamed that those 3 children...
Ashamed?
Look what they've done to us. And I could do nothing at all. We ran away.
Well, what else could we do?
I don't know.
Well, then what's the point of talking about it?
You haven't understood me.
I need a drink. What about you?
Won't you take a drink if Michael's not here?
Oh, Michael doesn't mind. I always help myself, and he helps himself in my rooms. If I have anything drinkable, that is.
He's a good man.
Yes, I suppose he is. Have some. Just what we need to keep us warm. Michael won't mind, really, don't you believe me?
I believe you, but I don't want anything.
God, it's cold in here.
Yeah, it will be colder at the camp.
The camp. What's the matter?
Not here.
If not here, then where?
Michael might come in.
Oh. Michael. He won't mind. He might even enjoy the sight.
You're joking.
No. I'm not joking.
Christine, you better go back. It's too long a walk for you.
No, I want to go all the way. I've never seen the camp.
You will have to return alone. That isn't good. Let us say goodbye here.
God, how depressing all this is. Why don't they do something about it? All the juvenile delinquents in Oxford must come out here on a Saturday evening.
Yes, it's horrible. You will hear a man boasting of making love to girls of 14 and 15. Then they imagine that all English women are like that. I'd rather go without.
And what can the girls hope for in return?
A baby? Well, they don't want much. A ring made out of a spoon, a brooch made out of an old sardine tin. You see, it's not very romantic.
You're awfully priggish about them.
If I speak strongly, it is because I have been tempted to take one of those girls. Being a woman, you cannot perhaps understand that. Maybe I shock you.
No, of course not.
It's not so much that you want to lie with a woman, but you want to have a woman. Any woman near you. To look at her, to talk to her. Would you prefer that I didn't tell you this?
No, I want to know everything about your life here.
The horrible thing is that however a prisoner decides his problem, the solution is always ersatz, always a substitute. We all know that, and that makes us feel ashamed.
Am I also ersatz?
You're not one of these prostitute girls. Please do not talk like that, Christine.
Is there so much difference?
Do not talk like that.
Doesn't matter. I had no idea how far it was. How on earth did you manage when your leg was really bad?
I thought of the punishment if I came back late. That's how I managed. Let us say goodbye here. We don't wish the guards to see us.
But the other girls are going as far as the gate.
You are not like the other girls, Christine.
You didn't take the gloves?
I don't like to borrow.
They would have been a present.
No presents. Until next Saturday. Do not walk out here again. I don't want you to come out here again. I shall meet you in Michael's room. All right?
Excuse me, love.
Yes?
You couldn't spare a light, could you? I'm clean out. Ta. Dying for that. Just what I needed. Hey, who was that one you was with? Was that Thomas? Was it? Hey, wait a minute! There's something I want to ask you!
I'm sorry I missed Thomas. How did the afternoon go?
The weather was foul. Blenheim was deserted. And we got rather muddy. As you've probably realized from the state of your clothes. And then I was a fool and walked with him all the way back to the camp.
He's an interesting sort. I think the most interesting to come my way in a long time. Though one wishes he'd been blessed with more of a sense of humour.
How did the seminar go off?
Well, fortunately, there was a very loquacious American present. Knew far more about Swift than I've ever known. Yes. If only Thomas could be persuaded to take life a little more lightly. Though I know it must be difficult in those circumstances, poor devil.
I think he considers himself rather superior to the rest of us.
Oh, yes, he's terribly high-minded. You going to see him again?
I don't know. I might, I suppose. Probably not.